Brett McMurphy, the great Brett McMurphy of Action Network, reporting this morning in an article the Colorado Buffaloes are leaving the Pac-12 to return to the Big 12. And he makes a comment about Washington and Oregon in this article. Welcome to episode 278 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. The great Brett McMurphy, Action Network. Colorado is leaving the Pac-12 to return to the Big 12. Sources told Action Network the Buffaloes will formally apply for the Big 12 membership on Thursday, today, when the Big 12's board of directors will approve the Buffs to begin Big 12 play in 2024. Sources said, we're not going to go through this whole article. It's a big one. It's a great one. It's an important one. It's an impactful one. Read the whole thing. The link is provided in the description. An announcement is expected Thursday pending official approval from the school's Board of Regents. The source said Colorado Board of Regents will meet for a second consecutive day on Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A member of the Pac-12 since 2011. Colorado decided to return to the Big 12, sources said, because of several reasons. The Big 12 stability under Commissioner Brett McMurphy, a more lucrative financial outlook in the Big 12, the uncertainty of the Big 12's future without USC and UCLA, and the inability of the Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff to secure a new grant of rights deal in the past 12 months. Yes, there was not a grant of rights deal. I'm sorry. There was not a grant of rights deal. Back to the article. In the Big 12, Colorado will receive the $31.7 million annually in media rights revenue. We've been reporting that for months here at Peek Around the Corner. We kept getting the question asked. We kept answering. Yes, Colorado will get the whole slice of revenue. Fox Sports, not obligated, but they are doing it because they're motivated to do it. We'll get back to that in a second. Not including other league revenue from college football playoff, etc. Once the Big 12 new 6-year, $2.3 billion grant rights deal with ESPN and Fox begins in 2025, sources said. That's the same amount each Big 12 member will receive. In 2024, Colorado also will receive a full Big 12 revenue share, including media rights and other league revenue, estimated to be about $42 million, sources said. Colorado departure for the Big 12 could start an exodus of more Pac-12 schools to the Big 12, sources said. The most likely candidates are Arizona State, and Utah. Arizona president. Now take a look at these dates. Take a look at the timeline of the events that happened leading up to this historic moment. Arizona President Robert Robbins met with Yormark in Houston during the Final Four, sources said. Officials at Arizona State and Utah also have had informal conversations with the Big 12 representatives and officials, sources said. In early May, Colorado Chancellor Phil DeStefano and Colorado Athletic Director Rick George met with Yormark in Chicago, sources said, to discuss the possibility of the Buffs return to the Big 12 early May, that being May 7th, as we reported to you as early as we possibly could at Peek Around the Corner when we were given the green light that we could give some details in and around the hot bubble of action. Then in the past few weeks, school officials met with Colorado's largest donors, and the donors supported the Buffs' moves to the Big 12. Sources said, we reported that at Peek Around the Corner, May 24th in Boulder, Colorado, May 31st in Newport, California. Last Wednesday, 2 days before the Pac-12 Media Day, DeFastano told the Denver Post, at this point, the 10 remaining schools are staying together. And Colorado's goal is to stay within the Pac-12 and have a media deal coming up shortly. That's our goal. And then it talks about in the article, DeStefano also told the Post he was eager to hear what Kliavkoff has to say. We're going to skip down here. In April, DeStefano told USA Today that Colorado is committed to the Pac-12 what I said along with the other presidents and chancellors is we're not going to even think about going anywhere. None of us until we see what kind of offer we get. And that's still being worked out. I'm confident it's going to be fine. This is what DiStefano said in April. However, as we reported at Peek Around the Corner, at the time, the Pac-12 schools never, ever, ever received that offer, prompting the May meeting between DiStefano, Rick George, and Yormark in Chicago, May 7th. Early this month at the Big 12 Media Days, Yormark said the league had an expansion plan. We're going to skip through a couple paragraphs here, and now the money shot of the article. The Ducks and Huskies already have been vetted and approved by the Big Ten to join the conference, sources said. However, the Big Ten does not want the Pac-12 blood on its hand by taking Oregon and Washington before any other schools leave the Pac-12, sources said. With Colorado's pending departure, the question arises, would the Big Ten consider adding the Ducks and the Huskies? Now, we're going to get to that. We're going to drill into that right now here on episode 278. We've been reporting here at Peek Around the Corner. Those in the PATC community know this, that there's always been interest with Washington and Oregon in the Big Ten, not just Kevin Warren. The number one hurdle for near future Big Ten expansion was Kevin Warren, as we reported to you all. When Kevin Warren left the commissioner office to become the president of Chicago Bears, the number one issue, the number one hurdle for further Big Ten expansion here in the near future left. It's gone. But there were other hurdles. As we reported at Peek Around the Corner, the next big hurdle was the legal hurdle. The Big Ten Legal Council, they did not want to be seen as the ones who completely destroyed and decimated the Pac-12. Yes, I know. They damaged the Pac-12 probably without a chance of repair when they took UCLA and USC, but they did not want to take the other step. They didn't even want to be seen as taking the next step of taking two more Pac-12 schools. So that's the second hurdle. If the Pac-12 gets cracked open just a little bit more, and we believe it's going to happen with Arizona taking center stage at Peek Around the Corner's Holy Smokes Theater, now that hurdle will be gone. So there's only two more hurdles left for further Big Ten expansion here in the near future. Number one, who's going to pay the freight? What media companies are going to pay for Washington and Oregon to get into the Big Ten as a potentially at a discount? Fox Sports is for Washington and Oregon to join the Big Ten. Fox Sports is not the hurdle, but they're not really willing to pay the freight. Somebody else is going to have to pick up the tab. CBS, NBC, their games are going to become much more valuable with two big brands of Washington and Oregon joining the conference. Could CBS, NBC, and a combination of Fox Sports put down enough money to bring in Oregon and Washington? Or would the Big Ten have to bring in a new media partner? Potentially, let's say, well, maybe an Amazon Friday night Big Ten football? Possibly. But that is the hurdle. And you got to know right now the phone calls are going back and forth. Washington and Oregon going to take one more swing for near future entry into the Big Ten. And of course, then the last hurdle would remain. The Big Ten presidents would have to vote on it. They would have to be made whole. Your Purdue, your Minnesota, your Illinois, your Northwestern, your Rutgers, your Maryland. What is in it for them to bring in an Oregon and Washington? Because if you're bringing in Oregon and Washington, suddenly your linear exposure might be limited, might be decimated just a bit. So what is in it for those schools? They're going to have to make a little bit more money, a little bit more cash up front to bring in an Oregon and Washington. It could potentially all work out. But we've been saying here at Peek Around the Corner, through all the arrows, through all the critical nonsense that's been coming down our way, Big Ten has always been interested in the addition of Washington and Oregon. Vetted and cleared. We talked about that before June 30th of 2022 on our Twitter account. When the news broke that USC and UCLA were joining the Big Ten on June 30th, we immediately said that the Big Ten was not going to just have Two schools alone on the Pacific Coast. That wasn't going to be their total composition of their conference. Washington, Oregon, I know you're taking a swing right now, and we're going to be following. You're taking a swing to join the Big Ten. We are going to follow it as tightly as anybody could here at all across college football YouTube channels, because we've been in on it from the very beginning. So stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Stick with us here. Big day today. We're busy. This is the second episode. We're going to be dropping more, covering this story. Arizona center stage for the Big 12. Washington, Oregon, taking one more swing, one more phone call, one more possible meeting with the Big Ten. Big Ten has a decision to make because the hurdles are going away. It's a cost-benefit analysis. Add in Washington and Oregon now or 5 years from now. Either way, it's going to happen. What's most beneficial for the Big Ten? When should they do it to add the Ducks and the Huskies? Put down your comments. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comment section below the video, PATC community. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.